Hey, it's Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm. How are you doing today? It is Monday, and I'm thinking about social media. I'm thinking about influencer marketing, and I have a new friend called Catherine Wagner, and she has Social Perkz. She's founder of Social Perkz, and she's doing some good stuff for breweries and other, hard seltzer. And all kinds of other companies. I said, let me get you on, and you can talk to people about how important it is, if you have a business and getting it out there, and influencers. It's just crazy. It's huge these days. But let's get to it. And we're here with Catherine Wagner. She's the founder of Social Perkz, and Catherine Wanders on Instagram. How are you doing, Catherine?
Doing good. How are you, Michael?
I'm okay. I'm glad you got on the show. Thank you very much. It's and I just met you, and I understand you're doing some things for breweries, and I'm like, well, let me bring her on the podcast because just social media marketing, influencer marketing is huge these days. And if you don't do it correctly, your company could be at risk. Like a lot of companies went out of business because they just didn't jump on board, and do that. So. Tell me a little bit about, Social Perkz, and also Catherine Wanders. That's interesting as well.
Yeah, so I completely agree about that, about social media influencing. It's become a really big, important aspect of any person's marketing budget, or any company's marketing budget. They need to think about that. So I started Catherine Wanders originally because I saw that a lot of companies jumped on the bandwagon very early in the fashion industry. And so I did fashion, travel, and lifestyle. And I've been doing that for about 5 years now. And then I created Social Perkz just because I started consulting work about 2 years ago. And then 1.5 years ago, I started Social Perkz just because the demand seemed to be there. And that's because a lot of people started to realize I was connecting with a lot of other influencers around me, and I realized how important it was to not only be social media famous or social in person was also actually important. So I would get out there and and I moved around a lot. So I would try to meet all of the influencers in the area. And because of that, that's how Social Perkz started, is because of the connections I started to make. And it's wonderful that, I recently had partnered with an alcohol brand that was Bon and Viv Spiked Seltzer. And that's when I started to realize, that was the aha moment. Why don't I start reaching out to breweries? And I think that would be perfect to align both Catherine Wanders and Social Perkz with, breweries, both locally and nationally. So, yeah, I'd love to talk more about it.
Yeah, and Catherine Wanders, like Instagram, you have 250,000 followers. Oh my God.
Thank you. Well, it's been a long time. I post pretty much every day, and it's just consistency and dedication.
Wow. And tell me some of your past clients, like some of the other past clients. You had big clients there, no?
Yeah. I've worked, both Catherine Wanders and Social Perkz. I mean, it's kind of combined in some of the degrees, but I've worked with Ralph Lauren, Macy's, even Walgreens, Walmart, Grubhub, Zappos for shoes, even UGG boots. Also Thursday Boots, which is a really wonderful client out in New York City. I just have, it's basically a lot of companies that are even Hilton hotels. It has to do with fashion, travel, or lifestyle. Most recently, Get Your Guide. It's great because I get to go travel, and we just started a long-term partnership, so that's really exciting. So Yeah, it's just wonderful to combine all of my loves into one.
Yeah, because you're seriously wandering. You don't wander around the U.S. You're like around the world. Every day you're like posting something else. Like, hey, I'm in like Germany. I'm like, she's not in Germany. She's in Boston. But you have pictures of you in Germany. Modeling some boots or something. Or getting on a bus. I think it was, right.
Yeah, that was Forget Your Guide and also the shoe company I'm working with. And then also, I am going to continue the collaboration with them in Istanbul. So I already have those photos already set. So yeah, it's funny because, these are not on normal timeline like most people have. When you're an influencer, everything is very curated. So it's not like it's spur of the moment type of photos. These are very meaningful moments that you're posting because they're collaborations, and sometimes you have to put things in advance more than others, and that's how it goes.
Right. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. They're very nice photos, and you showcase the products. So that's great. So I think the breweries would be perfect for breweries and what they're looking to do in terms of, because there's so much competition in the beer space now. There's so many, there's like 7,500 breweries in the U.S. So it's crazy. So I mean, if you want to stand out, whatever you can do to get that social media influencer marketing out there, that helps tremendously.
The really good thing about niche marketing, like with influencer marketing, is that you do target exactly your target your target audience. So you're able to find the people who follow those people who mostly post about maybe travel or beer or wineries. And, people have just beer blogs, and they post on Instagram or their blog or their YouTube. And it's really interesting because you can target those types of people, and the people who follow them are exactly the people who want to find information on that. So it's a really cool space to be in my opinion.
And you're an influencer, but you also know other influencers that you can pull in, right? I think that's what you were mentioning.
Right, yeah. So the way that I uniquely work is that because I'm an influencer myself, and the way that the companies like to work with me and the other influencers is that I approach them as an influencer myself. So I'm able to maybe gather a party together with other influencers, and they're not going to be asking for, $2,000 just to show up. It's more of a social gathering where we're all trying to meet up and have an influencer meetup, and we're all taking photos. We're all going to promote the brand. And it's a really casual way where we're doing something that we would do automatically anyway. So it's really fun to gather those types of people together. Or because I can speak to an influencer from an influencer's perspective, they are more willing to open up or respond or say yes. And so that's how I do tend to have a very good caliber of speaking to the influencers. And then the brands really appreciate that as well. So I'm able to negotiate or figure out, or I also know how to find those types of influencers. So it's really good because I have about 1 million influencers in my contact list. The only issue is that most companies want very niche marketing. So my specialty has become finding those specific niche marketing tactics to find the influencers who specifically belong in their target market, who would want to drink beer, who would love to showcase what they're drinking and talk about it.
Yeah, but you have connections with them. It's fantastic. 1 million, my God. Wow.
Yeah, I built that over some years based on a lot of the clients that I've accrued over time. Some companies who are like apps and things like that, they want me to blast out opportunities to all of them, and they want to make an app, a really huge, big app, and get all of the influencers on it. So that's how I've been able to amass all of those people.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, especially you talk about seltzer, probably White Claw would be perfect for you. They're huge. And also, Boston Beer Company has the Truly brand, right? I mean, they're in your neck of the woods.
The company I worked with was Bon and Viv Spiked Seltzer, but the good thing is that it's not a. We just did that for a summer campaign for their new drinks that were available. So there's always new opportunities.
Yeah, White Claw. Hey.
Yeah.
You got to get hold of her. But
no, of course, that would be great. I've been seeing everyone with seltzers all over Boston. That's for sure. This entire
crazy.
Yeah.
It's blowing
but
up.
But it's interesting because a lot of breweries have been opening up those types of things. Like, okay, so for instance, Rogue Brewery, they're all over the place, meaning all over the states. And what I just have been talking to them, and we're coming up with concepts on how to work together, and we'll be starting in 2020 together. And what I find very interesting about them is that they're not only beer, they're spirits, and they're canned cocktails.
Wow.
So I really like that because it gives me an opportunity to find kind of maybe more of a feminine type of influencer for their canned cocktails. For their spirits, maybe a little bit more of a rugged type of outdoorsy person. And then the beer, maybe that would be someone maybe potentially gender neutral or maybe more extreme because of all of their really fun labels and logos and things like that. So, yeah, I think it's a really fun project. And I think that I look at every single company and I can kind of come up with a creative way on how we can kind of tackle the type of people we should outreach to.
Yeah, well, for the beer, you could use me if you want.
Exactly.
I am a brewer.
Exactly.
I mean, and I do have a podcast. So I don't know if I'm an influencer. I don't know. I'm getting there.
Well, your brewery is wonderful. I think it's incredible.
Oh, you came up. You liked the beer?
Yes, I did. I really liked it. I specifically liked one of the beers that you sent me home with, and it was the spiced one, which was
Ojai Wild. Yeah, it was our stout. We infused bacon, chipotle, barbecue sauce in that.
That was quite interesting. I could definitely taste that.
Yeah.
And coming from a more adventurous type, I would say that was really fun for me.
That's cool.
But all of and it was great to see how you just set up everything and you just created it from the ground up.
Pretty much, yeah. It was nothing there. It was a shell, and I kind of did everything from the ground up, Me and my 401k, that's what I said. Me and my 401k. And there you go. And now we have it. But I'm trying to sell the location. We're underway, and because I've kind of done everything here. I've built the brand, and it's time to move forward, I think, and do some different things, kind of be mobile.
Right. Well, you have your podcast. You can go visit some breweries, and you've made a really desirable spot for someone to not have to build something like you just had to.
No.
So, and which was 5 years ago.
It takes years off your life, man. If you want to do it from a bare spot and build a brewery, it's just like a ordeal.
Someone who's about to run a marathon.
And actually, someone to run a marathon next weekend. Actually, when this comes out, I will have run it, so I should be still alive. I should be okay. I ran a marathon last year too, so it's okay.
Right.
I want to do one a year. That's my goal. Why not? But
it's a good goal.
So and it's interesting about the breweries. There's a lot that you can offer people.
Right. Well, yeah, that's part of what I think is fun with brewers. I think it would be really fun to gather people, like specifically because I live in Boston, but I think it would be really fun to gather around the influencers of Boston and kind of do an influencer meetup, and then we all have a fun event. And this could be consecutive, this could be at a different brewery at different times, and just showcase the experience. Also, what's really great is that it's great content to repost.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of people these days, specifically millennials, they look at a brewery or they look at a restaurant before they go on Instagram. So that's what I do. Of course there's, other, like Google, you could look up photos on Yelp or things like that, but you don't really get the vibe there or who goes there. So what I really like about Instagram is you can go to someone's page and then look at their tagged photos or look at the location photos and then see what the vibe is like. And that can really benefit you.
Oh yeah, it's very important. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
right.
that's what they say when you're marketing a place to eat. You want to see that it's lively, and you want to see inside. And where am I going? Am I going to dinner? I'm going to a bar or a brewery. Like, how does it look? And if you have the right people there.
Exactly. And also what I really like about influencers is that they can showcase a place for the perfect vibe that it is, and they'll make it look good too. So it's like, oh, I want to mimic that, and I want to take a photo just like that. So that's actually what a lot of people do these days.
It's so interesting how everything's developing, huh? It's social
right.
media. You just look at your phone. You can do everything through your phone. It's ridiculous. It's a smartphone.
Right,
it's crazy,
exactly.
Man. Like, when you think of like the 1930s, you had to go to a movie theater and they didn't have TV. They just had big screens up and then you would see stars and those would be the influencers. But now you just have to look at look down at your phone and you can see all kinds of stuff from wherever.
I will say, I know I'm young. I'm 27, but I do remember the floppy disk and AOL dial-up.
Oh my God! They had the AOL Time Warner merger, and then they called it AOL Time Warner, and then they called it Time Warner, and then they dropped the AOL. It was a disaster. It was crazy. But that's what everybody was AOL, but it wasn't really the internet. It was kind of just like AOL, and they didn't. Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy how things develop. Yeah.
Exactly right. So now what is going on now, and I do believe it's going to be this way for another 5 years at least on social media for Instagram. And I've always been very specific with the social media that I choose to use, because Twitter is for politicians or people who like to make fun of politicians. Of course, breweries should have a Twitter too, like tweet, oh, hey, we have a new beer coming out. But I think that a lot of the millennials or a lot of people are searching on Instagram kind of like the new Google in a weird way. It's like, oh, well, what is cool these days? What would be interesting? And, is there good lighting there? Or is there good... How can I make a photo that looks interesting to make my friends or followers think I'm cool? It's a different experience now.
Yeah, Instagram is hot. TikTok, I don't know if you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. He's like TikTok, and then LinkedIn is blowing up too.
Right, of course. I love LinkedIn. I love Facebook, and I love Instagram, and I also have a YouTube. And of course, a blog is just a good place for you to have some type of footprint on the internet.
Right. Well, wow, awesome. Yeah, you're doing a lot of good stuff, and you're meeting a lot of people, and you're getting stuff done, and you're helping companies tremendously. So that's really good. So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I can give you the information, of course, but maybe you can post on your podcast. But people can contact me through direct message on Catherine Wanders, CatherineWanders. That's Instagram. And then also, you can find me at, it's kind of a long one, but you could do COLLAB, so collab at CatherineWanders.com. So,
okay, great.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And I am always open to hear about more things. Also, people can find me on LinkedIn. I'm just Catherine Wagner, Wagner. So, Yeah, I would love to connect. I love the whole brewery world. I've grown up in Boston. I left at 18. I moved to New York City for 5 years for college, and then I moved to Germany, actually, and there I was able to visit a bunch of the old-style breweries. And that was fantastic. I've been to Munich, Oktoberfest. Let's just say I can definitely handle the big beer in my hand.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. They know what they're doing. Yeah. The Germans are awesome. I went to Oktoberfest once. Oh, it was excellent. You know, it was just these women with this, like, they would have 5 steins in their hands, like a gallon each or something like that, and just come to your table and just drop them on the table like bang. And then you pay like €5 or €10 for the beer, but it was just a gallon of beer. It was crazy. So
right.
But it was really good.
It's impressive. It was fun. I dressed in the classic dress, the dirndl.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But I will say what I like about Germany's beer is that it is, you know, so classic and needs to be in the same, you know, Hefeweizen or Pilsner that it has always been. But what I love about the States is that we are more rebellious. And what I love about your brewery specifically is that you are rebellious. Like, you don't mind adding blueberries or fruits or hot sauce. And, you know, that's what I love about American style beer. It's my favorite.
You Americanize it, yeah. So you just get crazy. Right. They have the strict German purity law, the Reinheitsgebot. And that's, you know, you got to use like barley, hops, and water and yeast, and that's it. Anything else, you can't sell it. Like they'll come and like arrest you or something. Like, it's crazy stuff. Like I was talking to a German guy. He's like, if they see it on the shelves and it's not, you know, according to this law, they can come and just like shut you down. It's crazy stuff. It's a law, you know. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Germany is very regulated. You know, there's many degrees. So anyway, I like the freedom of America. Let's just say that.
I need to go back there. I need to go back. There's a lot of things I need to do. I got to take a one-way ticket and just keep going and visit people that I say I'm going to come visit you, and just go.
That's exactly what I did.
Oh, you did?
I did that. Yeah, I left my entire life on the Upper East Side in New York City. I took a one-way trip ticket out to Germany. Well, actually, first to Switzerland, and I ended up getting married to the guy who I met up with over there. But then we just traveled everywhere, and it was just, I don't know, I think taking a leap of faith is sometimes one of the best things you can do. And all I wanted to do was work on my blog and create Catherine Wanders and create a business out of it. And then I created Social Perkz. So I think it's all been for a reason.
Well, it seems like you're having a lot of fun, and you're meeting a lot of people and doing a lot of different things and connecting with a lot of companies, and you're helping companies tremendously with what you've started. So it's great stuff.
Thank you, Michael. Sounds
awesome.
Like you are a connector yourself, so that's really wonderful.
We try to connect. Yeah, we're going to work together and connect some breweries, and I got to get into the seltzer thing. I got to find a. Oh, actually, Night Shift is doing seltzer.
Wonderful. Yes.
You got to get. We connect. We tried to connect with him today, Michael. He was on the podcast. We're issuing a podcast out. I did a podcast with Michael, one of the founders of Night Shift. He's a really cool guy, and yeah, he's a good guy to get in touch with. So we'll see what happens.
That's wonderful. Yes, I saw actually a reply, and that's so wonderful to see that. So yeah, I'm excited, and we'll see what can happen.
We'll see what happens. All right, cool. All right, Kathy, well, I appreciate you being on, taking the time.
Thank you, Michael. This was so fun.
All right, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that was Catherine Wagner. She's the founder of Social Perkz, and also Catherine Wanders on Instagram. 250,000 followers. Crazy. She's a hardworking woman, and she's got the followers. She knows like 1 million influencers. What? It's crazy stuff. But she's great, and you know, just underline the importance of this of social media and influencer marketing. It's huge, and it is working for breweries and also the hard seltzer and also other companies. And a lot of companies ignore this stuff and then they fizzle out. They go away because they don't get involved in it. This is the new medium. We're talking about it like, you look at your phone these days, like in the 1930s, you'd have a big screen. You'd have to go to a movie theater to see a big screen, and you can see the stars there, or whoever, Cary Grant or whatever. And now it's you look at your phone, and you see these famous people on your phone, influencers. But it's fantastic. I'm glad I had Catherine on. If you like what we're doing, you like our podcast, please go onto iTunes, give us a rating and review. Click on those 5 stars. Everything will be okay. Send me an email, michael@craftbeerstorm.com. Let me know if you know somebody that can be on the podcast. We're 360. We have Catherine on. She's not a brewer, but she affects the brewing industry with the marketing. So anybody in the brewing industry or touches the brewing industry, hard seltzer, I think I have to expand this because there's just a lot of stuff becoming more popular. White Claw's crazy. White Claw, contact me. Also, Truly, Jim Cook, we got to get you on, man. I took a picture with you in Portland, and I'm going to get you on. We're talking to your office. That's what I have for you today. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you on Wednesday with Beer Styles. Take care.